Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This week we're starting off our week going to work again, where I'm going to go through and figure out my schedule for the week. I know that we're making a transition in our musculoskeletal conditions class from the knee region down to the foot and the ankle, as well as within our medical conditions class we're going to be having a lab which will involve some of the members from our community, where we can really get some good practice and possibly hear some of the real conditions and heart sounds and lung sounds and things like that that we might actually see in some of our patients in the future when we go into acute care settings. So that should be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm just gonna head over there now, get to it, and I'll let you guys know anything else along the way. Today we were able to be really productive, which was great, and I got done almost everything that I need to have done. The only thing that's left is to finish my foot and ankle cases. That will be for the lab tomorrow from 10 until noon, but I do have a little bit of time before that lab after I wake up, so I'm going to utilize that time for that. I think the rest of tonight is just going to entail a little bit of making some dinner. I think we have some leftover bananas that I'm going to use to make some banana bread so that we can have it for breakfast tomorrow. And then I am just going to do a few more chores, like doing a little bit of laundry before I head to bed, so that I can have some good rest for tomorrow. So I'm going to get to that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So it's been a little while since I've talked to you guys, but pretty much yesterday we had our musculoskeletal conditions where we went through the foot and ankle cases early in the morning. We're getting much faster at things, so I'm very happy with our progress on that. But then in the afternoon we moved on to our medical conditions, where we were doing a bit more of the intervention with the pulmonary system regarding things like the chest therapy, which you saw Austin doing on me with chest percussion, making sure to use that nice cupped hand technique to make sure that we're just helping dislodge some of those things within the lung rather than just slapping our patients. So very important to keep that technique in mind. But today was really awesome because we started moving into some of the actual application of these pulmonary and cardiovascular exam items, because we actually had some volunteers from the community come in and let us practice our exam skills on it. So I had a very nice lady who was actually a previous PT, so it was really awesome just to get to interact with them, have them kind of explain their experience throughout our exam because we just did it in groups together, and really as a whole from the student perspective see the reality of what we're learning in school, because I feel like that's something that has kind of gone out the window a little bit in the past, because we really start thinking about, oh, I have to know all of these special tests and skills and have to be ready to do all of these examination items. But when it comes down to it, especially during that initial evaluation and going over history with the patient, you're just there to be a listening ear, hear everything that they have to say, and really connect with the patient. So it definitely gave me a nice spark again in terms of, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. Of course, all of those special tests and everything are important, but the real reason why we're going through all of this is to help patients, be a listening ear, and just help them through what they're going through. So it was a really great experience overall this morning. Definitely felt really energized afterwards. And then this afternoon we had our neuromuscular conditions class, where we were just talking about a bit of the pharmacology in regards to conditions where spasticity and things like that are really important, and talking about some of the medications which you frequently see, like baclofen and things like that. So overall is a really useful lecture, but I'm just kind of winding down for the night. We're going to have our weekly bachelor nights that I'm going to head over to. I'm probably going to work on creating some flashcards for neuromuscular conditions during that, so I'm sure that you guys will see some of that, and I'll give you guys another update later on in the week. We had another really fun day today. It started off really early this morning again because I ended up walking my girlfriend over to do her rounds at the hospital. But then at 8 a.m. we had our musculoskeletal conditions lab, where we started off really well because we ended up getting some chocolate milk from our professor. So it was super fun overall. We just went over all of the examination items as well as intervention items with manual therapy for the foot and the ankle. So it was really useful. There were some similarities, like there's an anterior drawer for the ankle, similar to there is with the knee, with the ligaments in there. So it was interesting to kind of draw those connections. But then in the afternoon, we just kind of got to relax a little bit because we only had our last interprofessional education class, which was just kind of a talk with our group and our facilitators, and just seeing how things went, what went well, what we suggest for other groups in the future, and things like that. So it was really quick and easy, but I managed to get through some of my flashcard making, so I decided I am going to go for a walk right now, get some of those flashcards in so that I can start getting my repetitions in early, because next week we're going to run into lots of exams. So I'm going to do that really quick. Then I'll finish up a few things when I get home, and then we're just going to go to bed, because tomorrow we'll be going through more material with medical conditions in the morning and then moving into our neuromuscular conditions lab in the afternoon. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Well, today ended up being another great day. We started off this morning with our medical conditions, going over a bit more related to pulmonary rehab and the importance and nuances of oxygen therapy and things like that. So overall, it was really cool, and we're finishing up some of that content because we actually do have a quiz that's due tomorrow, Friday, to get out of the way that's in regards to that pulmonary content before we run into the final exam, which is next week. But in the afternoon, then we moved into our neuromuscular conditions, where we did a nice review of our wheelchair content, as well as going into a little bit of how to fit a wheelchair and doing kind of the MAT assessment to make sure that you have the proper range of motion in the appropriate areas and how to fit the chair well so that we can work with the wheelchair techs and make sure that we can get it fitted properly for those who need it. But then after that, I actually ended up staying after class because one of our friends has a bit of hip pathology that we wanted to see if we could figure out, since it would be a good review of our hip content. So my friend Austin and I just worked together, and we weren't really able to figure out exactly what it was, but I am proud of myself in the fact that I managed to figure out a little bit of smooth muscle manipulation that managed to alleviate her symptoms, at least temporarily, and help her weight bear a little bit more without any pain. So even though it didn't feel like we were able to meet the end goal of it, we were still able to help her out a little bit. So that was really awesome to see. But then I just went and did a bit of grocery shopping, and I'm back for the rest of the night, where I think because I have that quiz tomorrow, I'll run through a bit of the medical conditions flashcards that I've already made, as well as continue working on making my flashcards for the neuromuscular conditions, because that's another exam that's coming up soon. We're really getting close to that exam week since it starts next week and bleeds into the following week. So I'm going to get to that. But tomorrow we have our musculoskeletal conditions lab in the morning, where we're really going to go over kind of the exercise content regarding the entire lower quarter. So I'll make sure to give you guys an update on that and talk to you guys tomorrow. And we're at the end of another week. We started off this morning with our musculoskeletal conditions lab, where we just went over exercise prescription for the entire lower quarter, the hip, knee, foot, and ankle. So it went really well overall, just getting to play around with the exercises, trying to emphasize specific muscle groups using same exercises as we are for emphasizing a different one. So overall, it was fun to play around. But then afterwards, I ended up staying back with that same friend who was having that hip pain earlier in the week, just to see if we reassessed things, if anything changed, and things like that. We noticed a few things that changed, but we still couldn't quite narrow down exactly what it was. But I did a little bit more manual therapy, and it ended up working really well because she reported that even hours afterwards, she's still having a good relief in pain. So I'm pretty happy with that overall. But that's pretty much all that I have for this week. I just have to do a medical conditions quiz regarding our pulmonary content before midnight tonight, but I'm just going to knock that out and then head to work tonight, so there's not really much else to cover. But if you're looking out for next week we're going to be diving into our exam week. We're going to start having 2 exams in classes, as well as a practical and a skills check. So there's going to be a lot going on, lots to study for. So if you want to see that, make sure to look out for the video next week. If you enjoyed this one, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KBDPT, and I'll see you all in the next video.